Magandang buhay. So ngayon yan, ang i-discuss ko naman sa inyo yung pang-apat na method sa pagsosolve ng quadratic equation. And ang tawag natin doon sa pang-apat na method na yon is quadratic formula. So we're going to use this formula. Ito yon. Okay, so ang quadratic formula, ang advantage niya in other methods is pwede mo siyang gamitin sa kahit anong klaseng quadratic equation. Unlike sa factoring, magagamit mo lang ang factoring kapag ang given mong quadratic equation is factorable. So kung hindi na siya factorable, you cannot choose factoring. So here, gagamit ka ng ibang method. So pwede mong gamitin ang quadratic formula doon or the completing the square. So, another thing is yung sa extracting square root. Ang extracting square root, yung first method, can be used lang kapag ang given mo is a quadratic term and a constant term. Ito yung wala yung linear term mo. O kaya, ang given mo is yung quadratic term mo is expressed as a square binomial. Example nito is yung x minus 4 squared equals a constant. Let's say 9. Yan. So, pwede mong gamitin dyan yung extracting square root. Okay? Pero dito, ang quadratic formula, kahit anong quadratic equation pa ang given, is pwede mo siyang gamitin. At masosolve mo ang isang quadratic equation. When we say masosolve mo, mahanap mo yung roots or solution ng isang equation, ng isang quadratic equation. Okay? So now, let's proceed sa ating main topic, which is yung pagsosolve ng isang quadratic equation using the fourth method, and that is quadratic formula. So, ano lang yung tatandaan natin dito? So, kailangan mong tandaan yung formula. So, ito yung formula natin, which is x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So, 4ac here is, imumultiply mo siya, and then all over 2 times a. Okay? So, ito lang yung tatandaan mo sa quadratic formula. So, take note, kapag ginagamit mo ang quadratic formula, make sure your quadratic equation must be in standard form. So, tandaan nyo na dapat ang inyong equation is in standard form. Ito yung ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So, tandaan yon, i-check mo muna kung naka-standard form ang given mo. Okay? Let's proceed sa ating example. So, let's solve the following quadratic equations by using quadratic formula. So, yung mga given kong example dito is nanggaling sila sa mga previous examples ko. Sa factoring, sa extracting, at saka sa completing. Okay, to show na magkakaroon pa rin tayo. Once na na-solve natin yan, we will get the same answer. So, gusto ko lang ipakita sa inyo na kahit gamitin ko yung, kunyari, sa number 1, ginamit ko ito sa extracting the square root. Tama? So, ngayon, gamitin natin quadratic formula kung makakakuha tayo ng same answer. Okay? So, check nyo na lang doon sa mga notes nyo, doon sa notes na binigay ko sa inyo sa website, kung same answer ang makukuha. And then, try to compare kung alin sa dalawang method ang mas mabilis o yung fastest way to solve this example, katulad ng number 1. Is it extracting the square root ba o quadratic formula? Okay? So, now, let's solve. So, sa number 1, di ba sabi natin, take note, dapat ang ating quadratic equation must be in standard form. So, this example is not on a standard form. So, kailangan natin gawin yan in a standard form. So, standard form natin siya. Gawin natin siya in standard form. So, we have x squared. Ililipat natin yung 25 sa kabila. So, dito wala tayong linear term. So, okay lang kung walang linear term. Okay? Basta tandaan nyo, dapat lahat ng mga terms mo is nasa left side. So, ililipat ko si 25, magiging negative 25 na siya. So, that is negative 25 equals 0. So, meron lang tayo dito na quadratic term. This is quadratic term and the constant term. Ang wala lang tayo is the linear term. Okay, so once na naka-standard form na yan, we can use na yung quadratic formula natin. And what's the quadratic formula? Okay, so ang quadratic formula natin is this one. So we have x equals negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Next, ang gagawin natin yan is hanapin natin yung value ng a, ng b at saka ng c. Yun ang isa-substitute natin sa ating formula. So, what are the values of A, B, and C? So, yung A natin, di ba, AX squared plus BX plus C equals 0. Yung quadratic natin, which is AX squared, yun yung A natin doon, yun yung katabi ng X squared. At eto yun. Tama? So, yung katabi ng X squared dito, that is the value of A. So, what do you think is the value of A here? So, the value of A here is invisible 1. So, let me write that one. That is invisible 1. Next, yung B naman natin. Yung B natin is nasa linear term siya. Ito yung katabi ng X. Since we do not have a linear term, so that means, ang ilalagay natin doon is 0. Next thing is the value of C. So the value of C, ito yung constant term natin. Ito yung number lang siya. Okay? And yung ating constant here is negative 25. So, kasama pati yung sign. Okay, so that is negative 25. So, once na nakuha mo na yung values ng A, B, and C mo, you can now substitute that in our quadratic formula. So, we have x equals negative. Lagay mo muna yung negative. Kopyahin lang natin to yung ating formula. Negative. And then substitute B. What's the value of B? That is 0. Plus minus the square root of B. And the value of B is 0. 0 squared. So, maglagay kayo ng parenthesis once na nagsasubstitute kayo. Or pinapalitan nyo yung mga value. Minus 4, yan, and then palitan natin si A, and A is 1, times C, and C is negative 25. Okay, all over 2 times A, so A natin is 1. Next, simplify natin. Negative times 0. So, that is 0. So, kung 0 na yan, ika-cancel na natin yan. So, hindi na natin kailangan ilagay yung 0. So, plus, minus, so magiging, or positive, negative na to kasi wala na tayong number before this symbol. And then, square root, 0 squared, makakancel na yon. Next is magmumultiply tayo. So, bago kayo, multiply nyo muna yung mga sign. So, negative times positive, that's negative. Times negative, that is positive. So, magiging positive yan. Magiging positive yan. Next is multiply the numbers. 4 times 1, that's 4, times 25. So, multiply mo yon 25 times 4, that is 100. Right? So, that is positive 100. Now, do we need to write the positive sign here? Hindi na. So, pwede na nating erase yan. Okay? So, erase na natin yon. Erase lang natin yung 100. All over 2 times 1, that is 2. Okay? Next. X is equal to, simplify natin, positive, negative. What is the square root of 100? So, the square root of 100 is 10. So, the answer here is 10 over 2. Do not forget yung denominator natin. Okay? Okay. So, dito niyan, ang gagawin na natin is, dalawa yung sign ng 10 natin. Isa positive at yung isa is negative. So, i-separate natin yon. So, we have x equals yung una, yung positive 10 divided by 2. At yung pangalawa is negative 10 divided by 2. So, next niyan is simplify natin to. 10 divided by 2, that is equal to 5. So, this is now our answer. First root. And the other one is x is equal to negative divided by positive, that's negative. 10 divided by 2, that's 5. So we have another root, which is negative 5. So these are now the roots of the given equation ng x squared equals 25. Okay, now let's proceed. Let's have number 2. For number 2, here, we use factoring. So, nakuha ko lang to sa given natin sa factoring. Now, pakita natin na we will use dito naman yung quadratic formula. Okay, so, first, nagagawin natin is to check if ang given nating equation is in standard form. So, x squared plus 3x minus 18 equals 0. So, this is in standard form. So, kapag naka-standard form na yan, hanapin na natin yung values ng A, ng B, at ng C. So, ano ang values ng A, B, and C? Yung value ng A, ito yung nasa quadratic term. Okay, sulat ko lang. So, ito yon. So, ito yung sa quadratic term natin. So, ang value ng A natin is yung katabi ng x squared. So, that is 1. Ang value naman ng B natin is, ito yon, yung sa linear term, at yun yung positive 3. At yung value ng C natin is yung nasa constant term. And that is negative 18. Okay? So, once na nakuha na natin yung values ng A, B, and C, we're going to use the formula. So, yung formula natin is negative B plus minus B squared minus 4AC. Divide by 2A. Do not forget yung denominator. Okay, solve natin. Substitute the values of A, B, and C. So, copy lang natin yung negative. Palitan natin si B ng 3. Positive or plus minus the square root of B. What is B? What's the value of B? That's 3 squared minus 4 times A. What's the value of A? That is 1. And then we have C. The value of C is 18. Or, oops, may nakalimutan tayo dito. This is negative 18. So, bago kayo mag-proceed, paki-double check yung mga values nyo. Okay, so that's negative 18. I almost forgot. So, paki-double check. All over 2 times A. The value of A is 1. Okay? So, para hindi kayo malito, pwede natin palitan ng color. That's 3. That's 3. Yung A natin is blue. And yung C natin is negative 18. Paki-double check yung mga values nyo. Yan. Okay, now let's proceed. Simplify. Negative times positive. That is negative 3. Plus minus the square root of, what's 3 squared? That is 9. Next, ito careful kayo Negative times positive, that's negative. Negative times negative, that's positive. So, magkakaroon tayo ng positive sign. And then, 4 times 1, 4 times 18. So, 4 times 18, times natin. 8 times 4, that's 32. 4 times 1, 4 plus 3, 72. So, we have 72. Oops. All over 2 times 1. So, 2 times 1, that is 2. Next, x equals negative 3 plus minus. So, we need to simplify first the radicand, which is 9 plus 72. So, what is 9 plus 72? That's 81. All over 2. X equals, now simplify pa rin natin yung nasa loob ng radical. Okay, which is yung radicand natin na 81. So, here, i-write lang natin negative 3 plus minus. What is the square root of 81? So, the square root of 81 is 9 over 2. Ngayon, kapag na-simplify na yung radicand natin o yung radical natin dyan, pwede na natin niyang i-separate. Okay? So, separate na natin yung dalawa. X equals negative 3 plus 9 over 2. Kasi di ba dalawa yung sign ng 9, which is yung positive and negative. So, separate na natin siya. So, yung isa niyan sa kabila, x equals negative 3 minus 9 over 2. So, solve na natin. We have x equals negative at saka positive. So, dito, dahil alike sign sila, magsasubtract tayo. So, 9 at saka 3, subtract mo, that is 6. And ano ang magiging sign ng 6? Is it positive or negative? That is positive kasi nga, 9 ang pinakamalaking value. Okay, so no need to put or to write the positive sign kasi positive naman. So, over 2, do not forget the denominator. X is equal to, simplify kung kailangan siyang i-simplify. So, 6 divided by 2, that is positive 3. So, this is now the first root ng ating equation. Next, dito naman tayo, work out natin yung kabilang root. So, x is equal to, since same sign sila, so we need to add. So, 9 plus 3, that is 12. And same sign sila, kaya negative. Pares naman silang negative. Divided by 2, so ang x natin is negative 12 divided by 2, that's negative 6. So, eto na yung other root natin. So, we have So, the roots of our equation are 3 at saka negative 6. So, ganun lang siya kadali. Yun nga lang, magsasolve ka lang talaga. Medyo mahaba lang yung pagsasolve mo dito. Okay, number 3. So, dito, as you can see, ang numerical coefficient ng ating quadratic term ay greater than 1 na. So, kapag mga ganyan na, mas magandang gamitin ng quadratic formula. Okay? So, now, let's check muna kung naka-standard form. So, ito, hindi siya naka-standard form. So, kailangan natin ilipat si positive 27 sa left side. So, we have the standard form or S form. We have 2x squared plus 3x minus, kasi magiging negative na to, di ba? So, minus 27 equals 0. Next. Once na naka-standard form na siya, hanapin na natin yung values ng A, ng B, at saka ng C. So, yung value ng A mo, ito yung katabi niya yung x squared. So, that is 2. Yung value naman ng B mo, ito yung katabi niya yung x. So, that is positive 3. And the value of C, ito yung katabi or ito yung constant mo. So, that is negative 27. Okay? So, once na nakuha mo na yung values ng A, B, and C, we can proceed na dun sa pagsasolve ng solution or dun sa quadratic formula natin. So, yung quadratic formula natin is x equals negative b plus minus b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a. So, substitute x equals negative b. So, ano ang b natin? That's 3. So, maglagay tayo ng parenthesis. Oops. Plus minus the square root of b squared. Ano yung b squared? Ano ang b natin? That is 3. Minus 4. Ano ang a natin? Ang a natin is 2. At ang c natin is negative 27. Careful kayo sa mga sign. Minsan dyan tayo nalilito. All over 2 times a. And ang a natin, the value of a is 2. Okay? So, solve natin. X equals negative times positive, that's negative 3. Plus minus the square root of 3 squared, that is 9. Next, sign tayo. Negative times negative. Negative times positive, that's negative. Times negative, that is positive. So, magiging positive yan. Next, 4 times 2, that's 8. 8 times 27. So, 27 times 8. 8. That is 56. 8 times 2, 16. Plus 5, that's 21. So, we have 216. All over 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So, next, proceed tayo. X equals negative 3 plus minus. I-work out natin yung nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, 216 plus 9. So, 216 plus 9 lang natin yan. So, we have, add mo, that's 5, 15. So, we have 225. All over 4. Next is, solve na natin. So, workout pa rin natin yung nasa loob ng radical. So, we have negative 3 plus minus. What is the square root of 25? 225 rather. So, think of a number na kapag minultiply mo by itself, you will get 225. So, 10 times 10, that's 100. So, that's higher than 10. So, we have, let's say, 15. Try natin ng 15. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 1, 5 plus 2, 75. 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 1, 1. So, this is, okay, the answer is 15. So, the answer here is 15. The square root of 225 is 15 over 4. Next is, isa-separate na natin yung dalawa. Wait. So we have negative 3 plus 15 all over 4. And the other one is x equals negative 3 minus 15 all over 4. So solve natin. Unlike sign sila, kaya subtract. So, subtract natin si 15 at saka si 3. So, that is 12. Ang magiging sign ng 12 is positive dahil mas malaki si 15. So, 12 divided by 4, x is equal to 3. So, that's the first root. Next, second root natin. So, x equals, since they have the same sign, so add lang natin, that is 18 over 4. So, ang sign ng 18 here is negative since parehas silang negative. So, 18 divided by 4, hindi siya divisible by 4. So, ang gagawin na lang natin dyan is lowest term na lang natin. So, i-divide natin to ng by 2. So, 18 divided by 2, that is 9, negative 9 over 2. Kasi 4 divided by 2, that's 2. So, this is now the other root of the given equation. So, we have 3 and negative 9 over 2. So, kung may fraction kayo, you need to simplify them. Kaya kunin mo yung lowest term nila. Okay, now let's have the last two examples. Okay, so here naman sa number 4, ang given natin is a quadratic term at saka isang linear term. Tama? So here, pwede itong gamitan ng factoring. Pero ipapakita natin siya by using yung quadratic formula. So, now, check nyo muna kung naka-standard form. Okay, so naka-standard form na yan kasi lahat ng terms natin is nasa left side. So, hanapin na lang natin yung values ng A at saka ng B and C. So, ang value ng A natin is invisible 1. Okay? So, that is 1. Ang value ng B natin is, ito yon, negative 3. And since we do not have a constant term, so, ang lalagay natin dyan is 0. Okay? So, madali lang to. Now, we're going to use quadratic formula. So, we have negative B plus minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So, substitute the values. So, we have negative B and our B is negative 3. Plus minus the square root of B squared. And the value of B is negative 3. Plus, minus 4 And the value of A is 1. And how about the value of C? That's 0. So, 2 times A. Ang A natin is 1. So, tapos na tayo mag-distribute. So, work out na natin yung ating solution. So, ang sagot natin dito, negative times negative, that's positive. So, positive 3. Plus minus. So, what is 3 squared? Negative times negative. That's positive. 3 times 3, that's 9. So, positive 9. Next is negative 4 times 1 times 0. So, here, dahil may 0 tayo, pag minultiply mo any number to 0, the answer is always 0. So, makakancel na to. So, kailangan ko bang isulat yung 0? No need na dyan. Okay, so using ko na lang ito. So, ang matitira lang is 9. Next. So, 2 times 1, that is 2. Okay, next, work out natin yung radicand. X equals 3 plus minus. What is the square root of 9? So, the square root of 9 is 3 all over 2. So, next nyan, na gagawin natin is separate natin yung sign ng positive and negative 3. So, we have x equals 3 plus 3 all over 2. And the other one is x equals 3 minus 3 all over 2. Okay, so solve natin. 3 plus 3, that is 6 over 2. And what is 6 over 2? That is 3. So this is now our root. One of the roots of the given equation. Next then, sa other side, x equals 3 minus 3, that is 0 over 2. And since 0 ang numerator natin, 0 divided by 2, the answer is 0. So, eto na yung isa pang root natin. So, the answer here, the roots of our given equation, which is x squared minus 3x, are 3 and 0. Okay? So, next, last given, so we have 2x squared plus 4x equals 3. So, check muna natin kung naka-standard form. So, hindi yan naka-standard form, so kailangan nating gawin yan ng standard form. So, we have 2x squared plus 4x. Ililipat natin yung positive 3 sa kabila. So, we have negative 3 equals 0. Next is, hanapin na yung values ng A, B, and C. So, what are the values of A, B, and C? Ang titignan na natin ito yung ating, yung naka-standard form. So, the values of A, ito yan, that's 2. The value of B, this is yung 4, positive 4, and the value of C, that is our constant. So, that's negative 3. Now, we will substitute that in our formulas na negative B plus minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. So, substitute na natin. X equals negative B, ang B natin is 4. Plus minus the square root of B squared, and B natin is 4. Minus 4 times A times C. Ang A natin is 2. And our C, the value of C is negative 3. So, all over 2 times A. Ang A natin is 2. Okay? I-work out na natin yung ating solution. So, negative times positive, that's negative. So, we have negative 4 plus minus. What is 4 squared? That is 16. Next. Negative times positive, that's negative. Times negative, that's positive. So, magiging positive yan. So, multiply na natin yung number. 4 times 2, 8 times 3, that's 24. Right? So, that's 24. Next, 2 times 2, that's 4. Next, x equals to negative 4 plus minus, what is 16 plus 24? So that is 40, right? 6 plus 4, 10. So that's 40 all over 4. Next, x equals negative 4 plus minus. So dito, yung 40 natin, it's not a perfect square. So kasi wala tayong number na kapag minultiply mo by itself, whole number I'm referring to whole number na kapag minultiply mo is sa sarili niya, makakakuha tayo ng 40. So walang ganon. So ang gagawin natin dyan is hanapin natin yung factors ng 40. So what are the factors of 40 na merong perfect square? So, di ba, we have 1 times 40. So, aside sa 1 na perfect square, hindi nakabilang to. So, next yan, na factors niya, 2 times. Anong i-multiply ko sa 2 para makakuha ko ng 40? That's 20, right? How about 3? So, hindi siya pwede. 4. So, 4 times 10. Tama? 5 times 8. So, meron pa ba? Wala na. So, alin sa mga yan, ang pwede natin gamitin na merong perfect square. Hindi nakasama tong 1 times 40 kasi babalik din tayo sa 40. So, alin sa tatlong pares na to, ang pwede natin gamitin na merong perfect square. Okay, tama. That is 4 at saka 10. Kasi si 4 ang perfect square. Okay, so ang gagamitin natin dyan is 4 times 10 all over 4. Tatandaan to, nung nasa extracting tayo, yung review. So, next yan is negative 4 plus minus. So, what is the square root of 4? So, the square root of 4 is 2. So, ilalabas na natin yon. Kasi pwede naman natin yung ipakita as ito. Pwede naman natin siyang ipakita as square root of 4 times square root of 10. Okay, and the square root of 4 is 2. Yun nga lang si 10, hindi siya perfect square, so mariretain lang siya as square root of 10. So, papakita natin na ganun. All over 4. Okay, so next thing na gagawin natin is separate natin. So, x natin is negative 4 plus 2 square root of 10 all over 4. And the other one is x is equal to negative 4 minus 2 square root of 10 all over 4. Okay. So, ngayon yan, we cannot add yung 4 at saka 2 kasi nga they are not similar. Dahil nga si 2, meron siyang kasamang square root of 10. Okay? So, tandaan nyo yon. Yung negative 4 here is a whole number and yung 2 square root of 10 ay isang real number, isang hindi siya katulad ng negative 4 na whole number. So, we cannot combine them. So, ang gagawin na lang natin dyan is simplify natin yan since they are fraction. So, dito magpa-factoring tayo. So, yung square root of 10 dito para lang siyang variable din. Okay, so magpa-factor tayo dyan. So, titignan natin yung 4 at saka yung 2. Meron ba silang common factor na pwede mag-divide sa kanila? Yes, meron. And that is 2. So, factor out natin yung 2. So, negative 4, i-divide natin siya ng 2. That's negative 2. Plus, 2 square root of 10 divided by 2, that is 1 square root of 10. Or simply square root of 10 lang. All over 4. So, ngayon yan, ang gagawin natin dyan is ilo-lowest term natin, si 2 and square root of 4. So, anong pwede mag-divide kay 2 and 4? That's 2. So, 2 divided by 2, that's 1. And 4 divided by 2, that's 2. So, ngayon yan, since 1 na lang to, ang matitira na lang is negative 2 plus square root of 10 all over 2. So, eto na yung answer natin, yung first root natin. So, hindi na natin niya masisimplify kasi simplified na siya. So, kung anong ginawa natin dito sa side na to, same lang dito. So, factor out lang natin ng 2. Oops, baka kala nyo that is negative, so hindi negative. So, we have negative 4 divided by 2, that is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2, that's negative 1 square root of 10. All over 4. And then, simplify natin. So, simplify. Magiging 1 ito and magiging 2 ito. So, we have x equals negative 2 minus square root of 10 all over 2. So, eto na yung ikalawang roots natin. So, we have negative 2 plus square root of 10 over 2 and negative 2 minus square root of 10 over 2. So, I hope naintindihan nyo yung sa quadratic formula. Okay? So, bye!